Hello, this is Marc Stuart Medium and my wife Ying, broadcasting live stream on Facebook and YouTube from Scotland. Let me just prove that I'm in Scotland with my theme music, for want of a better description. Hope you enjoy Scottish music. Hello. So, just a very quick introduction and explanation. I am Marc Stuart. I am a church-trained medium. I'm one of Dunfermline Spiritualist Churches in Scotland's mediums. Since March, myself and my wife Ying, you'll see Ying typing in the chats, have been doing weekly live stream broadcasts on Facebook, now on YouTube. We try to operate as closely to church service as possible. So there will be an opening prayer, there will be a short spiritual address, which really actually helps me to connect with Spirit. Ying does most of the chairing. She chooses who gets messages. So if you want a message, you have to type in the chat that you want a message. Ying will then put your name into what we call the spiritual box, and she chooses everybody randomly. So let me just show you how that works. Basically, as I said, your names go into a box. Ying will not show herself on video. I have tried. That's her hands, her knees. Your name gets pulled out. Obviously, this is a film. just showing you how we do it. Now, tonight I am being joined by a guest, so I would just very quickly like to introduce you to Chris.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, so just to explain, Chris sits in one of my circles. She's got a very powerful medium. She will be doing messages later on tonight. Excuse me while I reposition with the camera. There we go. So basically, I'll do the bulk of the messages, and if you want to stay till the end, you might get a second message. It's up to Chris how many messages she does at that point, and obviously it depends how many of you are still here. So, Chris, do you want to open us in prayer then?
Okay, sure. Dear Father, Mother Spirit, thank you for bringing us together today. Thank you for all the loving, healing energy coming through to everyone here online. We thank you for opening the door to the other side. And we ask that our spirit guides and our loved ones step forward and that their messages are passed on today, especially if anybody's desperately needing to hear a message. We ask that they are received first. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, so this is how we work. I've explained if you want a message, you have to type. Ying puts your name in, that gets chosen. The messages are very short and sharp. I will give you evidence, or Chris in due course will give you evidence of the spirit that's coming forward. We will then try to give you a message from them. Now, there is a time delay. I'm not sure what the time delay is at the moment. On a good night, it's 10 seconds. On a bad night, it can be as long as half a minute. So if myself or Chris are giving you 3 or 4 lines of evidence, don't come back to us saying, yes, no, yes, no. What do I mean if I say I've got a 25-year-old woman, blonde hair, died in a car crash? Don't come back saying yes, because then we'll take yes as all. Don't come back saying yes, 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 no. Tell us, yes, woman, no to 25, she was 35, yes, the car crash, no to blonde hair, as an example. We'll try and give as many messages as we can. If you do get a message, apart from staying to get a second message from Chris, I would ask everybody to stay to the end. Reason for that's very simple. There's 3 elements involved in this. There's the medium, myself or Chris, giving you the message. There's the spirit coming forward that the medium has to connect to. And there's also yourself as the sitter who we're connecting to. Now, just imagine how we're working here as mediums. We can't see you, and there's a time delay, and we're also trying to keep open to spirit. Excuse me. So it's not as easy as it sounds. And also, the energy that you generate helps us to work. So the more of you, the more loving energy you send to us, the easier it is for us to give messages and for you to give evidence from your loved ones. We do like to get feedback. We had some people last week giving us feedback of messages from a previous week. We do this twice a week. We do Friday, Saturday, depending on what time zone you're in, 12:30 UK time. So that would be, I believe, 7:30 Eastern time. As a medium, I work in both Australia. Sorry, I was going to say Chris comes from Australia. As a medium, I work in both America and the UK, and that's why Ying and I are trying to do this to try and reach out more to the Americans. Been doing this for about 5 weeks. We've changed the nights a couple of times. We've now got a regular time slot, so we do either end of the weekend. 12:30 UK time, you can work out your own time zone from there. 8:30 on Sunday. Now, 8:30 on a Sunday is a much busier one because we've been doing it much longer. We can get anywhere between 20 and 30 people at that one. So if you want to get a reading, you've got a bigger chance of getting a reading tonight because we haven't built up the same numbers yet. That's pretty much about it. That's how we work. Chris, as I said, is in my circle. She's been sitting in my circle for about 3-4 months. She's very good. She comes from Australia. She actually knows another medium that I trained with in circle, Avril. So say hello to her. Ying, you will not see, she is chairing it. The only other thing to warn you about, we do sometimes get attacked by hackers. If that happens, there will be a slight few second delay while I deal with them and remove them. We will block them straight away, and I will delete any attempts. What they do is they'll start typing, for example, Kathy Rossi. I see you've put your name up. Sorry, I can see Kathy and I can see Lorna. So you'll suddenly get somebody from God only knows where, even if they're a real personality. Kathy, PM me for a message. So I will go through and I'll try and delete those, but as we can sometimes get up to about 150 to 200 messages building up, and my focus is on the messages, and Chris's focus will be on giving you messages as well. Just bear with us. We do the best that we can. So if you bear with me just for a few seconds, I'm going to give you what we call a spiritual address. So this is where I'm opening up to spirit and just trying to get a message that everybody can take. It's actually, I teach this in my circles, but it's actually part of opening up to the other side and trying to get a deeper connection. But you do sometimes get messages that you want to hear anyway. So let me just see what I've got for you this week. How many of you have been driving in the last, let's say, 2 weeks? And how many of you have put your foot down on the accelerator to go too fast? Maybe there was a reason for it. Maybe you were late. Maybe you were driving somebody to the doctor. Maybe you're a policeman and it's your job to chase people in a car. Who am I to be judgmental? But maybe you were just lazy and you weren't paying attention to the speedometer and your foot just slipped. Maybe you knew that there was no speed checks for the next 10 miles and you thought, oh, what the hell, I'm just going to do it. The chances of there being a policeman there to check me. Spirit, however, doesn't work that way, because spirit connects with us throughout our life, throughout the journey of our life. And yes, sometimes we do have to bend the rules of life for very specific reasons. Call it white lies, call it the great, doing something to help somebody, and you maybe have to bend the rules to do it. But sometimes you just do it for selfish reasons. Sometimes you just do it because you can. Sometimes you just do it because nobody's judging you and nobody's connecting, nobody's watching you. Well, your loved ones in spirit, whatever your religion is, I don't know. I'm a Christian, so maybe I'm being judged every time I do something that's overtly selfish. All I'm saying is, if you accept that we're giving spiritual messages, if you accept that there is life after death, which is the purpose of working as a medium, as a spiritual medium, as far as I'm concerned, then you also have to accept that at some point on the other side, you may be judged. You may even be judged in life. How many times have you been in some sort of situation where everything should have gone spectacularly well for you, but basically you got caught out? So just bear that in mind as you lead your life. Watch your foot on the accelerator in the car, and just watch your foot on the accelerator of life. Kathy's just put up that somebody sent her private messages. Kathy, I can't control what happens after the event, but I can certainly block people during the event. So if you give me a few seconds, I shall be coming to give the first message. Lorna, coming to Lorna. So, Lorna, I have a man coming forward. Age-wise, I would say late 40s, early 50s, maybe mid 50s. Short black hair, quite a rounded face. For example, if you were looking at my face, I think of my face as sort of being quite narrow. This man's face is quite rounded. So, Lorna, can you understand a man sort of around about mid 50s, and a dark hair, dark brown or black hair, and a rounded face? Can you understand anyone like this in spirit, Lorna? I think he might have worn glasses as well, quite round glasses. I want to go like that with my eyes, big sort of spectacles. I think spectacles. Now, Lorna, thank you for the yes. Now, as I explained at the beginning, people, if you give us a yes, we have to take that as meaning you can take every bit of evidence. There is a time delay, so please specify what you're saying yes to. So, Lorna, And like, because you haven't specified, I'm going to have to say that you can take all of this for the man. He's coming forward. Okay, thanks for the clarification. So sunglasses as opposed to reading glasses then. He's coming forward to, he's actually quite, I'm not going to say angry, but he wants to get you to, I don't know if it's pay attention is the right word. I'm not saying he wants to shake you, but he really, really does want you to stop doing something. Can you understand you're doing something in your life on a regular basis, or just some way that you lead your life that you know that he would not approve of? Something like, I mean, I'm not saying it's smoking, but something like he doesn't smoke and you smoke, or he smokes and you don't smoke, or you've given up smoking and he wouldn't approve of it. And also he's drawing attention to your nose. Now, I don't know if that's symbolic about you being nosy about something, or if that's physical. So, again, you've given me a yes, Lorna, so I'm going to take that. You understand what this is about. He just wants you to stop. He's not giving me any specifications. He says, you know what this is about. We're doing a public broadcast. We're not going to broadcast your life. So basically, okay, so you understand the broken nose then. You haven't given me a yes that you understand what he's talking about. I'm just going to have to leave you with that, Lorna. Whatever it is, you're doing it on an ongoing, regular basis. I don't think it's anything to do with your nose. It is something like a habit or a way that you do something. Okay, thank you, Lorna. So I'm going to leave you with that. Now, I'm going to invite Chris to come forward and see if she would like to give you a reading as well. So before we go to Kathy, just stay with us, Lorna. So, Chris, do you want to see if you can give a message to Lorna?
Okay, sure. So it's Lorna. I also picked up on this man, and I felt that he had a really beautiful energy, a really nice energy, very strong energy, strong person. He's also showing me the letter M. So he's trying to acknowledge somebody that you know and he knows, perhaps, that starts with the letter M. Oh, can you understand this, Lorna? The letter M, it's somebody significant that you both know. I feel that they are actually still living. I'm not sure if that's a yes to me, but I'll continue on.
No, that was to the previous message, Chris.
To the previous.
Don't focus on the messages. I'll put them up on the screen as soon as they come up.
Okay, yep. My first time doing it live, folks, so I'm learning how it all works. You understand that?
So everybody send your support.
Okay. So I also, he's just acknowledging the family. It's very important to him, his family. He's saying that family are very important, and he's just showing that there's quite a few family members, and there's a special kind of bond there. So I might leave it at that. Thank you, Lorna.
Thank you. Okay, I'm coming to Kathy. Kathy Smith Miller. Kathy. Kathy, I've got a woman coming forward. I get the feeling we're going back quite a bit with this woman. So thanks for the feedback, Lorna. So Cafe Rossi, it's not yourself I'm coming to, it's Cafe Smith Miller I'm coming to. So Cafe, wrong Cafe, it's Cafe with a C, not Cafe with a K. So Cafe, are you still with us? Because I've got a woman coming forward who I think passed quite a while back. I'm wanting to place her back in maybe the 70s or the 80s. I get the feeling this is a woman that passed back in the 70s or 80s. So Cafe, this woman is, I think she was a teacher or she worked with children in some way. If she wasn't a teacher, she certainly worked around school. And I think it was young children. I don't think it's secondary school. I think it's in the UK, it's what we would call a primary school. So that would be children aged up to the age of 12. Very, very, very heavy feeling that she was a teacher of some description. Please don't tell me she was a dinner lady. Not that there's anything wrong with being a dinner lady, but I really do feel it's a teacher. Dark hair, curly hair. I think she was a good age when she passed. So, I mean, I can see a picture of you, Cafe. I don't know how old you are, but I think you would have been a child when this woman passed. I mean, we're going back to the 70s or 80s. So can you understand a woman, like I say, something to do with teaching, going back to the 70s or 80s? So Cafe, can you understand this? Right. Okay, Cafe. If she wasn't a teacher, can you take a name beginning with the letter D? Dorothy, maybe a surname like Dodds. Right, okay, maybe not teacher. Maybe it was me that was focusing on the teacher, but certainly some sort of connection to children. She either worked with children or she was around children. As I say, children up to about the age of 12. And like I say, maybe a letter D. I'm not sure if it's a first name or if it's a surname. Right, okay, Cafe, I'm sorry, I'm going to open this up. So if I'm just basically, can anyone understand a woman, possibly with an initial D, who passed a good age in the 70s or 80s, and a heavy feeling that she was either a teacher or she worked around young children up to the age of 12? So children between the ages of, let's say, 5 and 12. Like I say, I think she was what we would, in Britain, I think she was what we would call a primary school teacher. So can anyone recognize this woman? Dark curly hair, past, like I say, good age, 70s, 80s, possibly with a name beginning with the letter D. So if anyone can recognize this woman, come forward. So can anyone recognize this woman? Right, if no one can come forward, I'm going to ask the spirit to step back. Cafe, stay with us, and I'll hand you over to Chris and see if she can get a connection for you.
Hi, Kathy. What I was picking up was that there was a lady who did pass as elderly, but I had more of a grandmother or great grandmother even feeling to her. like it's that far back. And she was showing me that there was a family disconnection. So it's like somehow a family have been moved away or separated, or they're not all together anymore. And that came through quite strong. And let me know if this is if you can understand this. She's also showing me, apart from the family separation, or maybe they just moved to another country, but there was the family do not all live together anymore. They've moved on or separated. And she was showing me the outside, the countryside, and showing me the grass and a very sort of natural outdoor country sort of lifestyle. She liked being outside and that. And she was showing me that she has a loving side to her, a really motherly side to her, but she was also very strict. She was very strict, stern. You wouldn't get away with much from her. And she was just reaching out to you, like just putting her hand out to you, wanting you to know that maybe people have gone out of your life, the family, but she was still there for you. I felt she was connected to you, and she held her hand out to you and said that you two have some similarities, and she's showing that you're a strong lady yourself. You're very strong, and when things need to be done, you can step up and do them, no problem. I hope you can understand that one. And I'm just trying to read the screen, sorry. Can't see it. So she was just showing that there's some similarities in the strength side of it, that she was a strong lady and you are as well. And to me, it was a great grandmother. Thank you. And I'm not sure about which country, but she was wanting you to know that you hadn't been forgotten or left out, even though people have moved and the family unit has changed. She's definitely still there for you and with you. Thank you. I'll leave that with you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, coming to Tracy. You're welcome, Kathy. So, coming to Tracy Marie Hughes. Tracy. Tracy, can you take a dog or someone that had a dog? It's a good-sized dog, sort of brown colour, dark brown. I'm not good with dog breeds, so I'm not going to say it's an Alsatian, but it feels like an Alsatian. Now, I'm not sure if it's the dog I've got or if it's somebody coming forward showing me the picture of a dog so that you can identify them. They may very well be bringing the dog with them as well. It's a man. So I've got a man that you would associate with a dog about the size of an Alsatian. The man's quite elderly, grey hair. Okay, thank you, Tracy. Now, as I said earlier, people, please, when you tell us yes, I mean, I've given you a man and I've given you a dog, so I'm having to assume that you can take all of this. Please, as far as possible, when you give us yeses or nos, just to repeat myself, give yes dog, yes man, or yes to both, as an example, Tracy, and what I've just given you. So let me see what else I can get for you. Tracy, have you, I don't know if this is a memory or if this is something that's going on just now, but can you take someone, I don't know if this is you, again, I can't see the face of the person, but you know how if you took a bib and put it up to your collar, you know, like a handkerchief over your shirt or your blouse. Like I say, I can't see if this is a man or a woman, but you're eating, and you're actually, or the person that's eating actually has food falling down the front of the chest. I don't know if this is somebody that's alive that they're directing us to, or if this is a memory of the person, or if this is a memory for yourself. But like I say, it's somebody sitting, eating a meal. It's like gravy. It's like they're eating stew, and the gravy is dripping down the front, but it's being caught by this, I'm going to call it a handkerchief. It's a good bit of material actually tucked into the jumper, the shirts, the blouse. And it's a very, whoever's eating is eating very messily. Does this describe something that's going on just now? Somebody, can you understand this, Tracy? Somebody alive just now? Now you've given me a yes, so I'm going to take it that I'm going to take it that this is something that's going on just now that you can understand. Again, people, as I keep repeating, if you're giving us a yes, please give us a yes and explain what you're saying yes to. We're not asking you to give us information. We're just asking you to give confirmation. Tracy, is this somebody that you're caring for? I get the feeling that this eating is very messy, and it's someone that maybe can't eat properly. Maybe their arms. So Tracy, you've given me a lot of yeses. It's you. Okay. So it's yourself then. Okay. Let me see why this man is making me aware of this. Tracy, does your eating, I'm going to call it, do you have an eating disorder, Tracy? I'm not saying it's the eating with the, I'm not saying it's the eating with the hanky, but is there something going on with your food? Something with your food intake that you're aware of that isn't right? Like your diet, or are you eating too fast? Like, do you have a tendency to gulp? Does that make sense to you, Tracy? I'm suddenly just massively hungry, and I just want to scoop up my food and go like that. So, Tracy, does that make sense to you? So, Tracy, give me some feedback here. I'm trying to work out what this man's trying to tell me. He wouldn't draw my attention to something like this unless there was a reason for it. Can you understand? Right, so it's your diet. Okay. Well, he's drawing attention to it. So I can't tell you what to do with your diet because A, I'm not medically qualified, and B, I don't know what your diet issues are. You know what that means, right? Okay. So, Tracy, I'm just going to leave you with it. Whatever it is that you understand what this person is telling you about, he's really worried about it. So, I want you to look at it. Don't dismiss this. The spirit hasn't come forward to draw my attention to make you think about this without there being a reason for it. So if you can understand what the reason for this is, good. Just do something about it. Right, now, Tracy, it's more than that. It's not, I mean, he's not drawing attention to the fact, like I say, it wasn't the way you were eating. That was just a way of drawing attention to what it was that he wanted you to think about. So you know what he means. I'm just going to leave you with that, Tracy. Like I say, it wasn't to draw attention to the way you were eating. It was to draw attention to the diet. So whatever it is that you understand about the diet, look at it, change it, improve it. Just take that on board and good luck with it. Okay, coming to Rachel Noble. Rachel, coming to Rachel. Rachel, I've got a woman coming forward who was quite young when she passed. I'm placing her in her 30s. Now remember, I'm 55, so anybody under 50, I describe as young. So somebody that's passed in their 50s. So Rachel, I want to give you a woman who has passed in her 30s. At least that's how she's showing me. If she didn't pass in her 30s, that's the age that you knew her. So it's either or. Long black hair. Not sure if she wore glasses, but she's drawing attention to her eyes. I think there was an issue with her eyes. Either, I don't know. I don't think it's glasses, but there was some sort of condition with her eyes that she's drawing my attention to. So, okay, Rachel. Let's see what else I can get for you. I might be slightly off with the age, but not by far. So if she's not in her 30s, maybe early 40s. So maybe widen the age a wee bit, but definitely dark hair. Like you're showing on your picture. Think outside the box, Rachel. Doesn't have to be a close relative. It could be somebody that you know. Okay, so it's someone of your age that's passed then. So widen the box. And remember, they didn't necessarily have to pass at your age. Could be somebody from your childhood, could even be an aunt, someone before, but they definitely passed when they were around about 30 to 40. So think, just widen it out a wee bit. Maybe think back a generation, think of friends. Don't just think of your close friends. Doesn't have to be somebody that was your next door neighbor, for example, or your sister or your best friend. If you're here trying to get a message, it could be someone that you know of that's come forward to give you a message to somebody else. So just think it's definitely yourself, Rachel. I can't get this. This is not an open message situation. This is definitely you. If it's not somebody that's close to you, just widen it out a wee bit. Can you understand who this is? So, Rachel, are you still getting a blank? So, Rachel, if you can't take it, just come back and say. Understood, Rachel. No, I'm going to bring Chris in and see if she can pick up on this spirit because it's a very strong spirit.
Hi, Rachel.
So, Chris, can you pick anything up from this woman?
What I'm getting is I feel like this is a female and that it was somebody that you knew. I didn't get family, but I got that it was someone you definitely knew and spent time with. And I also saw a cross, like a medical cross. And I'm not sure if that's because they were a nurse or in the medical industry or because they received medical care. And I feel like it was quite a while ago. Like it's not recently. Oh, Has she commented? Or?
No.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Rachel, if you can't take this, then we're going to have to ask the woman to step back. But just bear with us for a few seconds and see what the message is about. Maybe you can work out who she is later. Rachel, can you understand? We talked about, and I mentioned a neighbour earlier. Are you having an argument with a neighbour? So, Rachel, can you understand? Sorry to hear that, Rachel, but this is definitely a woman. Can you understand just now having an issue with a neighbour, an argument with a neighbour? Maybe not an argument, but let's call it a heated discussion. Doesn't necessarily have to be your next door neighbour. Right. Okay. So in terms of your neighbour being difficult, can you understand? We have an expression, don't feed the mediums. Because I was about to say, can you understand noise from bottles? Or can you understand him complain very specifically, something to do with glass? If not bottles, certainly glass, like breaking glass. Like noise that glass would make. Does that make sense to you, Rachel? Has this neighbour complained about the noise of breaking glass or bottles? Something to do with bottles or breaking glass. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know who this woman is, and I don't know what the noise is, but just be aware something about your neighbour complaining about bottles in your forest or noise from bottles. Maybe it's children picking up the bottles, or maybe it's somebody collecting the bottles. Right. Okay. Maybe it's me that's misinterpreting it then. He's told you about the bottles. Apologies. Like, we got that sometimes happens because we're working fast. We just get bits and pieces and we have to put them together. So just think about it. There's something, like I say, there's something more about what he's complaining about. Read the bottles. Look at the bottles. Don't look at the neighbor. Look at the bottles, because it was the bottles that we were drawn to. Maybe work out where the bottles are coming from. Maybe somebody's leaving the bottles that you need to think about or look at. Could be the kids. So yeah, you're feeding the mediums again, Rachel. But I'll leave you with that. See if you can work out who the woman is. If you can ever work out who the woman is, let us know, because we don't like not knowing. But I'll leave you with that. Okay, coming to Cafe Rossi. Cafe. You're welcome, Rachel. Cafe, I've got a man coming forward. I feel he's quite elderly. And I feel before he passed, he had a long, drawn-out, weak period. Almost as though he's declined over time. It wasn't a sudden heart attack and he's gone. He was in bed, maybe just getting older, just getting weaker. Good age. Always difficult to judge for men how old they are, because we get so old and so feeble so quickly. I would think in his 70s anyway. I get the feeling he looks and feels as though he was in his 70s or older. Maybe even older than that. Towards the end, I get the feeling that he wasn't shaving properly. He was, he would maybe go for 3 or 4 days because he wasn't able to shave himself. Or a beard, but he wasn't growing a beard. It was just easier to let the hair grow than it was to shave himself every day. So Kathy, can you make sense of who this man is? I get the feeling I think he is related to you. Certainly close to you. It's not like some of them, like the last message, a friend of a friend of a friend. This is somebody very close to you. Okay. Well, whoever you think it is, he's nodding at that. So I'm going to take it that you know who he is, Kathy. He wants to talk about a star, a literal star. Now, I don't know if it's a star, up in the sky, or if it's somebody that's a star. I get the feeling we're talking about somebody that's a star. Kathy, can you understand somebody maybe in a theatrical production or a music, singing a song, or maybe doing a live stream like this during the lockdown? Doesn't necessarily have to be acting, but somebody that is very, very much the star of the show. Everybody pays attention to them. I get the feeling we're talking about a female, or maybe even a girl or a child. Somebody that's younger. The star of the school play or the star of the class. So, Kathy, can you understand who this is? Can you understand a young woman or a teenager or an older child, the star? Can you identify who this person is? Right. Okay, so we know who you're talking about, Kathy, then. I don't know what the connection is between the man and the person is. I don't know if there is a connection or if it's just you're the connection, but have you not been paying attention to this person? Do you need to, are you feeling guilty because you're not paying enough attention to that person? Or is it the person that's making you feel guilty because you're not paying enough attention to them? Does that make sense to you, Kathy? I may be misinterpreting it because I get given emotions. So can you understand either you feeling guilty because you're not paying enough attention to this female, or the person maybe trying to make you feel guilty because you're not paying attention enough? Whoever this person is treating you or acting as though you're not paying enough attention to them. So, Kathy, does that make sense to you? You understand who we're talking about? So you can take the emotion of guilt, but it's them that should be feeling guilty. Right, okay. Like I say, I just got the emotion guilt. I'm going to take it from the way that you're talking that there's been some sort of disagreement. There's more to it than this. I'm trying to get more from this man. Kathy, can you understand something to do with your chin? Either you or this other person's chin. Just suddenly putting my hand up to my chin like that. Does that make sense? Either what we're talking about or something physical, or I can't make sense of it. I just suddenly have my hand being drawn up to my chin like that. I actually want to rub my chin with my fingers like that. So Kathy, does that make sense to you? Can you understand what we're talking about here? So Kathy, the person that you think should be feeling guilty, right, okay. So you don't know what this is about then. Well, it's definitely to do with this female. I'm going to have to direct you to go and talk to them. Just maybe talk about whatever it is that you think they should be feeling guilty about, and just maybe ask what's going on with the chin, or just when you talk to them, just look for it or feel for it. I don't know what it is. Like I say, I'm not getting, you're just going to have to watch for whatever it is and just take that on board. The man is giving me something that's too specific, that's going to make sense. You're going to understand it when you talk to the person, or it's going to hit you after the event. It's just, I'm going to have to leave you with that one. So I'm going to bring Chris in and see if she can get anything for you.
Hi, Kathy. So what I was picking up was that there is a man who's come through for you, and he feels like he was a very important man, very significant in the family unit, and probably everybody rotated around him, and that when he passed, it was a great loss. He also had a strength about his character. He was a strong person. I'm not sure if I can see that. And when he comes forward, he's got a deep love for you. And to me, it feels like a fatherly or grandfatherly kind of love, but it's hard to tell with family sometimes. But he comes forward and he opens his heart to you, and he just puts his love around you. He definitely thinks the world of you. He's also indicating, he's talking about breathing difficulties, some difficulties with breathing. So I'm not sure if that's with him or maybe the person Mark was talking about, or yourself, but he's just indicating there's breathing difficulties there. And he's also talking about health, and sort of indicating that some more focus on health would be beneficial there. He's also indicating that changes are coming really soon, and to hold on, because that's going to change. A lot of changes that are good for you coming very soon. So I'll just leave that with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're not finished. We are going to do more messages. However, you know that famous line, a few words from our sponsors. Just going to put a short video up. Please pay attention. I'll talk about it on the other side of the video. Actually, that was just myself and Chris taking a few seconds to go and get a cup of tea. Seriously, folks, I do training. I normally charge $135 for what I call a 2-week introductory program, which includes a private reading, which I would normally charge $50 for. Circle, which Chris, as you can see the results of what Chris is now able to do after a couple of months. A one-to-one training session, videos, access to videos of it all. And between now and the 25th of December, I'm discounting $135 to $75. If you're interested, please have a look at the website that I'm just about to put up. So I'll leave that running, and that'll take you to the website if you're in any way interested. Now, getting back to the purpose that we're all here, coming to Ryan Evans. Ryan, I have a man coming forward who is quite active. I get the feeling this man had a sudden death. Not saying it was a heart attack or a car crash or anything like that, but you weren't expecting him. I can actually see a police officer coming to the door to tell somebody that this man has passed. So maybe some sort of accident. He passed in some sort of accident. He wasn't that old either. In his 50s. Late 40s, 50s, early 60s, that sort of age range. I say very active man, very energetic man, healthy man as well. Like I say, nobody expected this man to pass. So, Ryan, are you still with us? And can you understand who this man is? So, Ryan, are you still with us? And can you understand who this man is? So, Ryan, just to repeat, he's a man. I get the feeling you weren't expecting him, or nobody expected him to pass. So, Ryan, are you still with us? That's Ying just putting the call out. We get this sometimes, people. We get somebody asking for a message quite early on. So, Ryan, you're still with us, but that's a no. Ryan, I can't take this. I can't put this man back. I can't ask this man to step back. Think, like I say, widen the range of people you're thinking of. Maybe think back. I don't know where you are, Ryan. I don't know whether you're in Britain or you're in America. I get the feeling this man was in Britain. I get the feeling this man is British, or was British, or is British, depending on your definition. If he's not British, then Canadian or Australian. It's definitely the Anglosphere, the British. It's not America. He's not American. Something about his hands. Drawing attention to his hands. Suddenly, like hands just getting very, very, very energetic. Now, you've given me 3 no's in a row, Ryan, so before I open it up, just think outside the box. Right. Okay, Ryan, stay with us. I'll come back to you. I'm doing this as an open message. Can anyone understand a man, not American, this is not United States of America. I strongly feel it's British, might be Australian, might be Canadian, but it's a very, very much British feel I've got to him. Sudden death, possibly an accident. Okay, Ryan. I say, Ryan, I'm opening this up. So can anyone understand a man, late 40s through to early 60s, somewhere probably in his 50s, some sort of accident or some sort of sudden death? Like I say, I'm seeing a policeman coming to the door to tell somebody that he's passed. Or maybe he himself is the policeman, actually. Like I say, it's either a policeman or it's a policeman coming to the door to tell you that this man has died. Maybe I jumped in too fast to say it was the man. Maybe he was a policeman. Because I'm getting a very clear image of a British policeman coming to a door, knocking on the door to give some bad news to somebody. So can anyone understand either a man in his 50s who passed suddenly, like some sort of accident where a police would have gone to your door to give you the bad news, or possibly a policeman? But even if it's the policeman, I still think he passed in his 50s, and I still think it was sudden. So can anyone understand this? So if nobody's coming forward, I'm going to ask the spirit to step back. So I'll give it a few more seconds. Can anyone understand this? Okay. So Ryan, I'm going to bring Chris back on board and see if she can.
Hi, Ryan. I feel like this person was a family friend. I don't feel they were family. And this man does feel like he passed quickly, and it was unexpected that he would go. He also feels like the kind of guy, I sort of felt like an army or something like that. They're definitely a uniform with this man. And he has a really good sense of humor. He's a fun guy. Maybe sometimes taking the fun too far. He'd be the one to go to the party, have a drink, and an entertainer, really. And great sense of humor. You'd never be bored with him. And I also feel like he went away, like you'd see him sort of like occasionally. It's like an occasional friend. He'd be around and then he'd be gone for a long period of time, and then he would come back. I feel like he was quite tall with the light coloured hair, so sandy, some blondie brown. And so I'm not sure, I just feel like he was a family friend. So I'll just leave that there. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. Thank you, Chris. Right. So that was the last message that we're going to give tonight. We're just going to wrap up now. If everybody would please join us in a closing prayer, and then I'll put some music up to close us out. So, dear Father, Mother, Spirit, thank you very much for bringing us all together. Thank you for the messages that we were able to give. Thank you for the evidence. Please take the healing energy, or any energy that we've got tonight, and give it out as healing energy. Find somebody in the world to be able to give that energy to. Thank you for opening the door. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so thank you for joining us. I'll say good night from Scotland. Chris, if you want to say good night from Australia.
Good morning from Australia.
Good morning, sorry. I will be back with Ying on Sunday UK time at 8:30. Feel free to join us, although warning in advance, if you're not familiar with the Sunday event, it's a much busier event. Have a look at the website below and feel free to follow us up on that if you would like. Anybody that would like to book either myself or Chris for a private reading, feel free to contact us. Other than that, that's my main website just going up now. And I shall just play us out with some good Scottish music. And do feel free to come back again, either next week at the same time, or, as I said,